Well, what's up, travellers? Welcome back to the channel. SJ Aviation HQ here. Welcome back to the channel today. Today we have the model review of the Shanghai Airlines Boeing 787-9 released by NG Models. Before we go any further in today's video though, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. Great indication how much you enjoyed today's video and of course the content here on this channel. Come along and support me even further by subscribing to the channel below. It will help me out a lot moving forward into building up this channel. Whilst you're there, go ahead and smash the notification bell, of course, to get the notifications as soon as the videos go live onto the channel. Make sure you set the notifications to all so you get the notifications as soon as the videos go live onto the channel. Be the first one to view the videos. Thank you very much for any support on the channel in advance. So as I mentioned, the model review of the Shanghai Airlines 787-9 Dreamliner, this model here released by NG Models in October of 2018. Just a wee fun fact before we start along here. This model here was my first ever Boeing 787 Dreamliner released by NG Models. How have I come along this far with the array of 787s that I have at the moment? Very nice indeed. This was the first rendition of this aircraft. I believe this was one of the first 787s that NG Models actually made. So going into some information about this aircraft, or this airline, I'm going to read out some information about the airline and then some information about the aircraft, and then after that I will showcase the box for you guys. So founded on December the 30th of 1985, Shanghai Airlines is a Chinese airline headquartered in Shanghai, China, and is a wholly owned subsidiary airline of China Eastern Airlines. They operate domestic and international services out of their hubs at Shanghai, Pudong and Hong Kong international airports. According to planesbuilders.net, Shanghai Airlines operates a fleet of 88 aircraft, including 78 Boeing 737 narrowbodies, which makes up 4 of the 700 variant, 57 of the 800 variant, and 17 of the Boeing 737 MAX 8 variant, as well as 10 Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners. On October the 31st of 2010, Shanghai Airlines officially left the Star Alliance to join the SkyTeam Alliance as an affiliate member under the parent company, under its parent company being China Eastern Airlines. Going into some information about this particular airframe for you guys. This aircraft's MSN number or manufacturer serial number is 63706. This aircraft has the line number of 702, which means this aircraft here was the 702nd 787 Dreamliner to roll out off the production line for Boeing. This aircraft is a 7-year-old Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, which performed its first flight on September the 7th of 2018. This aircraft was built and produced in Charleston, South Carolina, the current the plant for where the majority of the production line is for the 787 series, because I do still have the production line. Well, not so much the production line, or they have the plant where they originated in Seattle, just on Seattle at Pinefield and Everett. But of course, the majority of the production line now is in Charleston, South Carolina. This aircraft here is currently active on the network for Shanghai Airlines, wearing the registration of Bravo-1111 or B-1111 for those who aren't too familiar with the phonetic alphabet, of course. As mentioned, a Boeing 787-9, which was delivered to Shanghai Airlines on September the 21st of 2018. This aircraft here is configured into a seat layout which includes 4 first-class seats, 26 business-class seats, 28 premium economy seats, and 227 economy-class seats. This aircraft is equipped with 2 General Electric Gen X-1 Bravo engines, specifically the General Electric Gen X-1 Bravo 74/75 engines, so very cool. This aircraft here was ferried between Everett Pinefield and Shanghai Hong Kong International Airport between September the 21st and 22nd of 2018, as of course it would have crossed the international dateline whilst on its delivery flight. And this aircraft is wearing the decaling to celebrate its 100th aircraft for Shanghai Airlines. So some very information there, so very cool. All of the sources for where I get my information from will, of course, will be, the links to those will be in the description below, so go ahead and check them out for the up-to-date information. As of course, the information I just read out a moment ago may be updated from when I got them, or got the information. So very cool indeed. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and showcase the box for you guys. So here we have one of the first renditions of NG Models' boxes, so very cool. Here we have in the top left corner, we have the Boeing 787 aircraft designator titles here, so very cool indeed. Here we have the aircraft itself looking absolutely spanking in this livery. I love the red livery on the Dreamliner. I really want the Hainan all red livery that used to be the Panda livery, the Kung Fu Panda livery. I would love to have that in my collection. Here we have where it states that this is the 100th aircraft for Shanghai Airlines. Of course, that decaling is right there on the livery, so very cool. Here we have the Shanghai Airlines logo just here, and of course the scale, and of course that's made out of die-cast metal. Here we have the registration of the aircraft Bravo-1111. On the bottom panel we see the aircraft type designator titles again, or the logo for the 787-9. Here we have the Shanghai Airlines logo here. The Dreamliner moon, crescent moon logo here for the Dreamliner series. On the bottom left, we have the very old rendition of the NG Models logo, the very first. Very nice indeed. And then we have the registration of the aircraft again. On the right panel, we have the 787 titles again. The aircraft itself with the Dreamliner titles or logo on the bottom. And of course, the old NG Models logo there. The top panel's information is pretty much identical to the opposite side, same color on the background as well. As you can see, pretty dirty if I say so myself. And then here we have the opposites, the identical information for the opposite side. This of course being the left hand side, opposite to the right panel. Same information on the right hand panel. So very cool. And then here we have the back of the box with the 787-9 designator logo there. Aircraft's in the middle here, looking absolutely fantastic indeed. The 100th anniversary, or no, sorry, 100th aircraft titles here. The barcode with the item number, warning information, and of course this of course was made in China, or a product of China. Just to show the differences of the logo, here is a model that I'll be soon doing a model review of. Look at the differences of the logo. There's on the top there we have the new logo, and here on the bottom we have the old logo. This is a model that I'll be doing a model review of very soon. If it's out already, go ahead and check it out top right corner if you missed out on that. So very cool indeed. And that is the box for you guys of the Shanghai Airlines 787-9. Hopefully they come out with another one, as I definitely would like to get another one if I say so myself. Me being a collector of the 787, I would definitely not pass on the chance of getting another one for sure. So that is this portion done for you guys, the reading out of the information about the airline, the aircraft, and of course the showcasing of the box. So let's go ahead and check out the model. And here is the absolutely stunning Shanghai Airlines Boeing 787-9 released by NG Models in their October of 2018 release. In this portion of the video, I'm going to showcase the model up close to the camera for you guys, giving you some nice up close shots of the details seen on this model. Also giving you some information about what some of the components do in the event of a flight. So let's dive in straight into the review of this model. First and foremost, of course, zooming right into the model, picking it up and getting it right in the middle of the shot, or right up close. Very nicely done. As you can see, this model here was one of the first renditions of the 787 or releases in general by NG models back in October 2018. Also was featured, what else was featured in that release? The Junior Airline 787-9 wearing the Chinese Pioneer livery was also in that release, Bravo-1115. I do have that model in my collection. If you want me to do a model review of that one very soon, I'll get that out for you guys in the near future, if you want me to do that, of course. Also featured in that release, or some releases after, was also the EVA Air -9 as well, and of course the China Southern Airlines and Air China as well. Very nicely done. So here we have the forward part of the aircraft, the pointy end, of course, where the pilots are located, of course. That's about in front of them. Right in the middle of the shot, we can see the nose cone. Now underneath that is a component called the weather radar. Now that is used to detect storms along the flight path and to give the pilots a visual indication of the amount of rainfall intensity ahead of them and the possibility of turbulence as well. This enables them to navigate around any potential hazardous areas of the flight plan that they've assigned for their flight. So very nicely done. Here is the first rendition of the cockpit windows seen by NG models. If I say so myself, they are to me they look rather realistic. I like the grey colour that they've used for the cockpit windows there, the windshields that is, and of course the black outline that is seen to represent, or to border where the windshields are and where they finished, of course. Now here we have the nose gear door here, just there, or nose gear in general. Nicely rolling nose gear just there with the strut seen above that. I think that's the right thickness in terms of the nose gears there. Here we have the SkyTeam Alliance logo. Now, Shanghai Airlines on October the 31st of 2010 left the Star Alliance Airline Alliance to join the SkyTeam Alliance as an affiliate member under its parent company being China Eastern Airlines. Very nicely done. Here we have the decal where it showcases that this is the 100th Shanghai Airlines aircraft, and below that we can see the aircraft designator tiles showing that this is a Boeing 787-9. To the left of that, or just below the SHA in Shanghai, we can see the AOA sensor, or angle of attack sensor, which is what AOA is abbreviated to, or abbreviating. That offers a visual indication of the amount of lift the wings are generating at a given airspeed or angle of bank. Very nicely done. And below that, we can just make out the pitot tubes just there above the black line there, and in the grey portion of the livery, we can see the pitot tubes there. Now they are used to measure fluid flow velocity during a flight. Very nicely done. Here is the first of the cabin doors, just here, the L1 boarding door. One of the two main boarding doors of this aircraft, of course the second one being right down here. Must just give a quick disclaimer that there might be some dirt and debris seen on this aircraft, as it is quite humid in my room at the moment. So do keep in mind about that. Here is the Mandarin titles of, I believe this says Shanghai Airlines as well. If I am incorrect there, or in general, I will put the information of what this says in the bottom of the screen right about now for you guys. Very nicely done. And here is the pitot-static system seen on this aircraft. Now this area of the aircraft is used to determine an aircraft's airspeed, Mach number, altitude, and altitude trend during a flight. So very nicely done. Not too sure what that bit of dirt is there, but it looks to be on the model. Here is the cabin windows of this -9 Dreamliner, the 14 cabin windows. The easiest way, or one of the easy ways of identifying which of the variants of the 787 this particular aircraft is. Now, another way of identifying it is as it is nicely proportioned with in terms of the aircraft's length. The -8 Dreamliner has 7 windows in between the L1 and 2 doors, and of course it is the shortest of the 3 variants, so it is quite stubby in nature. And of course the -10 Dreamliner is the longest of the variants has 19 windows in between the first two doors, and it is of course a very elongated aircraft, so very nicely done. As I mentioned, the second of the cabin doors just here. Just below that, if I can get some light on it, just in the middle of the shot. If you can't make it out, it is just above my finger there. But that is, of course, the wing light that is used to light up the leading edge of the wing just here. Mainly this portion of the wing, and of course the intake of the engine just there. But here we have the top of the aircraft. Do note that this is one of the first, as I mentioned, one of the first renditions of the Dreamliner, and how I always say, or very recently, that NG models do not put beacon lights on the top of their aircraft, and this is a perfect example, being one of the first releases of the 787 by NG models as a brand. They didn't put beacon lights on the top of the 787s way back in 2018, which is quite interesting. I thought it was a recent thing. Turns out it was right at the beginning of their production. So perhaps NG models should start to do that to showcase where the 787's beacon light is. As of course, the beacon light is an important component on an aircraft. It is shown as that red flashing bright light, especially with the 787 as quite as an LED bulb light that flashes very brightly. It is there to as a warning about whether the engines are about to be turned on, or whether the aircraft is live in terms of the engines being running in general. So very cool. So, but there is a beacon light on the bottom of the aircraft seen just there. But who looks at the aircraft, the bottom of the aircraft, when it is showcased in an airport display? Not many people. They mainly look at the top of it. So you would think the NG models would put a beacon light, or where the beacon light is showcased. But very interesting indeed. Me being a 787 collector, it would be something that they could perhaps improve on with their current releases. So very nicely done. Some feedback, I guess, for the company. Here we have the first of the antenna on this aircraft, and of course we have the SATCOM or Wi-Fi dome next to that. That is what provides the IFE in-flight entertainment scene behind each of the seats, but in those TV screens in the cabin. Very cool. Here we have the landing light mounted into the wing just here. That is a component that is quite important in the event of a flight. This is the component seen when the aircraft is either on the active runway or landing into the active runway or airport. Very cool. That is also one seen on the nose gear, but of course not seen on this model aircraft, of course. And the requirements for the wing light here on the wing here, and of course the nose gear, is between 0 and 10,000 feet as it is supposed to be used, and of course above 10,000 feet is up to the pilot's discretion for when they turn that off, of course. Here is the number one engine, the this size Gen X1 Bravo engine. Here is the intake of the engine just there, looking rather cool, and the first rendition of the vortex generator. Now the vortex generator is there to provide to combat any airflow against the leading edge of the wing. So just here, especially behind the engine, is what produces that little vapor trail seen that goes over the top of the wing when rotating out of an airport. So very nicely done. Here is the details of the slats and the flaps on the bird's eye view of it. Very nicely done. Let's just have a look at it now. Very nicely done. Of course, right in the middle of the shot is the aileron. Very nice. Very nicely done. And here, just here are the spoilers above the flaps. The flaps are the lower part, they fold down. And of course the spoilers are what folds up, especially as soon as the aircraft's landing gears touch the ground, especially when it's landing in. And a nice up bird's eye view of the right wingtip. My favorite version, or my favorite component of the 787, especially when the wing profile flexes up, providing that awesome looking wing flex. I can get it out of my gob there. Here we have the red navigation light opposed to the opposite side where you'll see a green navigation light. They haven't put it on the wing here, but this is where the strobe lights would be as well. The white bright LED strobe lights that flash quite brightly on the 787 in general, of course all of the variants, -8, -9 and -10. An easy identification device as well for anyone who is trying to identify an aircraft that is flying above them. If this aircraft if the strobe lights on this aircraft, on a Boeing aircraft, no, sorry, I'll start that again. Easy way to identify a Boeing when this aircraft is, if this aircraft is going overhead, it will, of course, the strobe lights would flash once. If this aircraft was an Airbus aircraft, then, of course, the strobe lights would flash twice, of course. So very nicely done. Here is the landing gear of this aircraft. Quite nicely done, as you can see, moving quite freely on the axis there. Very nicely done. Of course, they do not tilt. I don't think any of the NG models aircraft from then and up to now have tilting landing gear. So very nice. And of course here again the engine, the nacelle there with the clamshell design of the engine's nacelle there. Very nicely done, with the sharp exhaust looking rather nice, of course, of the Gen X-1 Bravo engine. The chevrons seen here, the clamshell design of the chevrons there, that's what I was trying to say before. It's also seen on the 747-8 variants, and of course seen on the MAX aircraft for the 737 as well. Here is the L3 door, mainly an emergency exit door more than a cabin door. Sorry, a boarding door there. So very nicely done. It's what has the inflatable slide that comes down, much like any of the other door, but this is mainly an emergency exit door. Here we have the second of the antennas seen on this aircraft, the only one seen on the belly of the aircraft. Very nicely done. Above the cabin doors, we can see the registration Bravo-1111. This, of course, being the first of their 10 Boeing 787-9s for Shanghai Airlines' fleet. Very nicely done. And below that, we can see the white Dreamliner crescent moon logo here. Very nice, with a small cargo compartment just to the right of that. Some more antennas on the top of the aircraft, located just before the start of the tail fin. And just here we can see the L4 door can be used as a boarding door when either boarding the aircraft and, of course, disembarking the aircraft via the air stairs, of course. Very nicely done. And here is one of my favorite parts of this livery, or aircraft in general, that, of course, being the vertical stabilizer, otherwise known as the tail fin, with the nice bird logo seen on the Shanghai Airlines livery there. Very, very nicely done indeed. This livery here reminds me of the Qantas 100th anniversary livery. It looks quite similar, if I say so myself, but I believe that this livery here was painted or unveiled much before Qantas had their centennial livery. If you want to go ahead and check out the model review I have done of the Qantas 787-9 wearing the Qantas 100 livery, check it out, top right corner right about now. Of course, that model released by NG Models as well. Here we have the elevators of this aircraft with those small grey dots you can see on either of the elevators there. They are the logo lights or tail lights. As the name suggests, they light up the tail for during low light conditions or night conditions as well, to provide identification to whoever's in the control tower about who the airline is. It can also be in a advertisement, or can also be a identification to anyone who is around the airfield for plane spotting purposes as well, to give them the sense of wanting to fly the airline. Very nicely done. Here is the tower cone of the aircraft. Very nicely done. This is where the APU is located, the auxiliary power unit. Very nicely done. To the right of the aircraft's tail fin, we can make out the APU inlet door. This opens up when the aircraft engines are in the case of starting up. Very nicely done. And of course, this drops down when the ram air turbine is dropping down as well, which we'll see the location of that in a moment. But let's have a look at this side of the aircraft momentarily to show you guys the differences on this side, this being the right hand side of the aircraft. Now here we have the cockpit hatch here. This of course is where the pilots would evacuate the aircraft when in the event of an emergency. Very nicely done. Here we have the R1 door. Of course, all of the doors on this side are the R doors. Very nicely done. Here we have the forward baggage compartment just here. You have a rear baggage compartment just here. And just here we can see where this aircraft has its green navigation light opposed to the red one I showcased just a moment ago. Very nicely done. Let's have a brief look at the bottom of the aircraft. Here we have where the nose gear door is. Of course, this is where the nose gear would retract into when departing out of an airport. Here we have that beacon light on the bottom of the aircraft, and of course the outline of the landing gear doors. Again, just like the nose gear, that's of course where it would be where the landing gear fold into or fold out of when either arriving or landing into or departing an airport. There is the stand hold for anyone who uses a stand on the pointed scale aircraft. As I mentioned before, the ram air turbine, this is of course where it is located, the ram air turbine, otherwise known as the RAT, the small propeller-like device that folds down below the fuselage to provide electrical assistance to the engines when they are in need of assistance. Of course, could also be seen, or can be also be seen below any of the 787s or 350s or 777s, or any aircraft who has the ram air turbine in their build when the aircraft is in testing or either very nice. It sounds very infamous, somewhat like a propeller would do, of course. Here we have the details of the engines on the underside, looking rather interesting indeed. Very nicely done. Here is the bottom of the side's wing with the registration, Bravo-1111. Very nicely done and detailed as ever by NG Models. Must say, for a first attempt of the 787, it is very nicely done. The only thing that I didn't like about the first renditions of the 787 in their catalogue was the flatness of the wings. But here we have the entryway to the APU, an easy access way to the APU for anyone who is on the ground trying to access the APU. Of course, the ground engineers being the better name for them. Very nicely done. As I mentioned, the flatness of the wing, there is no flex at all of the wing. The right wingtip is meant to be folded a little bit up, opposed to how flat it is. But as I mentioned, for a first attempt, not bad at all. and I believe they are. I think NG models are the only brand, if I am correct in saying that, they have actually released a Dash 9 for Shanghai Airlines. If I am incorrect in saying that, I'll put some additional information in the bottom of the screen right about now. But I believe I am correct in saying that. Very nice livery, very nice model. Let me know any of your thoughts of today's video in the comment section below. Any feedback you want to give me about my model reviews moving forward. If you enjoyed what if you enjoyed what you saw in today's video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. Be a great indication of how much you enjoyed today's video and of course the content here seen on this channel. Want to come along and support me even further, go ahead and subscribe below, and whilst you're there, click the notification bell to receive all of the notifications as soon as the videos go live onto the channel. Make sure you have the all option lit up and selected, as I mentioned, to receive the notification as soon as the videos go live onto the channel. Be the first one to review the videos that come on the channel very soon. More model reviews are coming up very soon, and of course unboxings and airport updates coming up very soon as well. And a special video coming out very soon to celebrate the 2025 collection, or all of the models that arrived into my collection within 2025, the year that has gone. So very nicely done. If you want to come along and support my social media channels, go ahead and scan the QR code you can see on the screen now. It'll lead you straight to my Instagram page, the one main place where you get all of the photos of my model collection, and of course the insights about my whereabouts on social media and the news and updates regarding my model airports news as well, like the network news as well. Go ahead and scan the QR code you can see on the screen now. That will lead you straight to my Linktree page, the wonderful place that has all of my links in one full place for easier access, of course. If you don't have any means to scan any of those QR codes you just saw a moment ago, there are links in the description below for easier access, and of course in the pinned comment as well. So thank you very much for coming along and tuning in today's video, guys. If you like what you saw, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, dim the bell icon, and of course leave any of your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to come along and support my channel even further and view more content like this, on the end screen will be some options for you guys. On the left hand side will be my most recent video here on the channel. On the right hand side will be the full playlist I've done of model reviews I've done so far here on the channel. In the middle will be where you can subscribe. And until next time, guys, fly safe, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.